Hello everyone, Lisa here, aka Crafting Diva. Thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel today, and I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to part 2 of my 900 subscriber giveaway Q&A videos. Thank you so much to everyone that has watched part 1. So pleased you enjoyed that video. It was great to answer your questions, and I hope it did give you some information, what sort of crafting I like, how I got into crafting, and I hope you've got to know me a little bit better. You seem to enjoy watching me colour as I answered the questions, so I thought we'd do that again today. So I've got another 2 little tilde images I was going to sit and colour while we have a little chat and I answer some more of your questions. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to colour these images with the same skin tones as I did on my previous video. So I've got my E00 and my E21, so we're going to start with that in one moment. And let's get started with our very first question, which is from Ashley from Poker and Twine, and she'd like to know, if you could have dinner with a crafty celebrity, who would it be? So I think you might all already guess which person I'm going to choose for my celebrity crafty guest. I 100% would love to have dinner with Mr. Tim Holtz himself. Yeah, he's a huge inspiration for me, and I'm sure lots of you out there as well. I think he's a fantastic crafter. He has brought out so many brilliant products over the years for Ranger, and obviously his Tim Holtz brands. The inks he's brought out have been just fantastic. They are one of my must-have tools that I must use every single time I craft. Yeah, so 100% would have to be Tim Holtz himself. I would just like to pick his brain about how he come up with the ideas for his designs, how he goes about designing his dies and things like that, because if you have got any of his collections of his dies or his stamps, they're always such great designs, so good to craft with and so versatile. So yeah, 100% Ashley, I think I would have to go with Mr. Tim Holtz himself as my celebrity guest. So thank you so much, Ashley, for your question. My next question is from Handmade by Shirley 3715, and she'd like to know, how long have I been crafting? Well, I kind of answered this a bit in the previous Q&A, so definitely if you've not seen part 1, I will link that in the description box below. I'd love you to go and check that out. But I've been crafting for 10 plus years, it must be. Obviously I've crafted a bit as a child. I did, like most children, painting, drawing. I did the little sewing project that I mentioned in the first video, and yeah, so in some sort of way I've crafted all my life, but really serious about paper crafting, it must be coming up 10 years plus. Like I said to you in the previous video, I started with the bare minimum of products because there wasn't much out on the market, and now obviously we've so lucky to have so many different products, brands, machines and tools we can use. So that's roughly how long I've been definitely paper crafting. Thank you so much for your question, Shirley. Next, I've got a question from Izzy. What crafting item have you brought and regretted never used? Again, I kind of did answer this in my first video, and like I said to you in that, I would say those Colour Cloud inks, I brought those, never used them, couldn't get on with it, really wasn't my idea. There used to also be a inking like powder, you could get pan pastels, I think it used to be called. I've brought those before and really wasn't keen on those. It was sort of like a makeup powder, and you could blend and ink and sort of use that to do in your backgrounds, but again I couldn't get on with those. So I'd say that pan pastels I brought, regretted buying them, never used them. The Cosmic Shimmer Colour Cloud, again brought that, hardly ever used it, couldn't get on with it. So I'd say those two really. Gilding flakes, like I said before, I've got, but I very rarely use them. So yeah, I'd say those 3 products are really the main things I've brought and really regretted getting. So thank you so much for your question. We've got a question from Celia Hitchman. Which magazine was the first one that you were asked to do a commission for, and what did you make? Again, I will see if I can find a picture of the very first commission that I did, and if I can, I will put a picture of it at the end of this video. Obviously I told you that I won Card Maker of the Year for card making and papercraft and quick cards. So the very first commission was for one of their magazines, and in their magazine they used to do pages of like free bonus papers. So they were pattern papers and they had a few little elements to them. So I think my very first commission for the magazine was to do a project with these free papers. I can't remember what the papers were like. I think it was quite a bright design, what I can remember. I remember also when I very first started doing my commissions for them, I had to do a set of 3D boxes. Yeah, I will have a look around my blog, because I used to have a blog where I used to post sort of makes and challenges. So I will have a look on there, see if I can find any pictures from when I did my very first commissions, and if I can, I will put pictures of them at the very end of this video. But I warn you, they are very basic, and what I'd suggest, not great designs. Looking back at what I used to make now is quite surprising, and it's quite fun to actually look back at how your crafting has improved. So yeah, I will see if I can find any pictures. If I can, I will put them at the end of the video. And yes, to me they look very basic cards, and I can see that I have improved, shall we say. So yeah, if I can, I will put some pictures at the end of the video, and hope that sort of explains how it all started with the magazine commissions. Obviously, as it went on, the magazines would get brands sponsoring them, so then I would get commissions to make designs with these brands. So I hope that answers your question for you, and thank you so much. Next, I've got a question from Create with Katarina, and she'd like to know, what is your favourite project you have made today? There's quite a few things that I've made that I really like. I made a 3D Christmas train one year using my brother's scanner cut. Again, I'll see if I can insert a picture of it at the end of this video, because I do actually still have it in my craft room. So that was when I very first got my scan and cut machine, and you could make 3D designs using the machine. So I was super proud when I had made that, because it was a lot of cutting these little elements out and having to stick them all together to make this 3D train. So that I was really pleased with when that was finished. I also made a large advent calendar with some felt little pockets that sort of hung on a large board. I don't think I have any pictures of that, but again, that was made using my scan and cut, and that turned out really nice. I was pleased with that. Unfortunately, I don't have that anymore. Recent projects that I have made that I've been really pleased with is my Halloween little house that I made for my Halloween autumn collaboration. I really enjoyed making that and was super pleased when I finished that. Let me just let you know, I've done the skin colours, and I've used R17 and R14 for her dress, socks and hat. Now I'm going to do her hair in E13 and E35. So what I do is I'll link that Halloween video in the description box as well, so if you'd like to go and check out the little project that I'm talking about there. But I really was pleased with that little Halloween house I made, because I used my Tim Holtz dies and did lots of die cutting and sort of making a scene in this little MDF house I had. So that I really enjoyed making making and was pleased with how it turned out. So I think they're the main projects that I can think of from the past that I've made and really was pleased with how they turned out. And a very recent project that I'm proud of is that Halloween little house that I made. So I hope that answers your question for you, Katerina. So let's just finish doing this hair. And then our next question is from Christine Cards and Things, and she'd like to know, how did I start magazine work? How many hours do I craft a week? Well, again, I have sort of answered that in the previous video, but I will just sort of go over it again. How did I start magazine work? Obviously, it mainly started from winning the Card Maker of the Year competition from Card Making and Papercraft and Quick Cards. So that is how the magazine work started. I did I think I was on the Crafters Companion design team before I won Card Maker of the Year. Or was it after? No, I think it was after. And I did a commission for Crafters Companion using their dies for, I think it was Die Cuts Essentials. So that was when I sort of started doing designs for like Die Cuts Essentials and Papercraft Essentials, but mainly my commissions were for card making and papercraft and quick cards, and that all stemmed from winning the Card Maker of the Year competition. How many hours do I craft a week? Now that's a hard one. If I've got a magazine commission to do, I would say obviously I craft longer because I'm doing my magazine commission. So in a week, roughly, I'd say I'd maybe get 2 hours to craft if I'm lucky. Obviously, if I'm doing a magazine commission, I've got to put all my time into getting that done and done in the deadline. So obviously the time would say be 3 hours in sections to get the commission done, because doing a magazine commission isn't just you get the products, you make the cards, you send them in. A lot of the time you get the products, you make your cards, but then you've got to do lots of steps before you send them in. You've got to write instructions, sometimes you have to design templates, obviously you have to do materials list, you have to do materials list, we have to do top tips, sometimes we have to do photograph step-by-step instructions where we have to have our hands in the shot and show how to make the cards to coordinate with the instructions we've wrote. So magazine commission work is a lot of work. It's not just make cards, do the instructions and send them in. It does take a lot of time to do a commission for a magazine. So I hope that answers your question, Christine, and thank you so much. Right, we're just going to do her shoes, and I'm going to do those in quite dark colour. I'm going to use BV25. So next question is from Kaz0518. What pens do you use for colouring stamps? So perfect question for what we're doing today. My pen of choice for doing any sort of colouring of stamped images, whether it's characters, people, animals, teddies, ice creams, anything, any stamped image, my pen of choice has to be my Copic pens. I absolutely love them, love the brush tips, love the colour tones you can get in them. I've used Copics for years and years, and when I totally can't use them anymore, when you can't buy the refills or the pens are too expensive, I really don't know what I'm going to change to. But at the moment, Copic pens, alcohol pens are my absolute favourite, and I wouldn't be without them. I do quite like using the Tim Holtz watercolour pencils. I'm getting into using those a bit more because I've got a set of those, but without a doubt, I just automatically go for my alcohol pens because I get such a good coloured image with them. Like I say, you get a nice mix of colours, and yeah, I just an alcohol pen colorist. And of course, if you're using alcohol pens, you want a ink pad that will not bleed. So I like to use a Memento. I used tuxedo black, but you can get these in all sorts of colours. So Memento ink is my ink of choice for using with my alcohol pens. So I hope that answers your question, and thank you so much, Kaz. We just find a nice green for doing our umbrella. I'm going to use this one, which is G82. Next question is from Monica. We all know Monica from AKA Paper Mona. Do you like making fancy fold cards? If yes, what one is your favourite, basically? I do like making fancy fold cards. They take a bit longer than just a normal standard A6 card, 5x7 card. They're nice to make for a really special occasion. I love a side stepper card. I think they're nice to do and decorate because you've got little different area panels you can decorate with your papers, your images. I like a pop-up design, a sort of jump card. They're fun to make. I wouldn't really say I've got a favourite fancy fold card. I like to do gatefold cards, are nice to do. A twisted easel. There's so many different fancy fold cards you can actually make. It all depends on the theme of the card you are wanting to make, what sort of products you're wanting to use. But I think a side stepper would be my favourite. Quite easy to do, not too much panels and decorating to do if you do need a card in a bit of a hurry. So I think a side stepper card would be my favourite at the moment. So I hope that answers your question, Monica. Thank you so much. I'm just going around the edge with a G21 just to give a bit of shadow. Next question is from Anne Lane. I know you're an amazing crafter. Thank you so much, Anne. That's so kind of you. And love working with paper. But what is a craft you'd like to try you have never done before? Anne, yeah, like I've said in part 1, I'm not really sure if there is a craft I really like to try. Maybe one day sewing would be a craft I could try. Yeah, I've sort of tried most things, to be honest. I've done wax seals, I have done quilling before, diamond painting I've done before. What else? Iris folding I've done before. That's quite nice to do for a change. Yeah, I can't specifically think of a craft that maybe, like I said before, using a jelly plate and paint would be fun to try, because again, that is something I haven't done. Jewelry making, it doesn't really excite me, I don't think, unless, you know, I tried it once and was like, wow, this is so fun to do, I definitely want to do this again. Yeah, so I think maybe jelly plate and paint would be one that I haven't tried and would like to try. Yeah, I can't really think of any other craft that would really excite me, shall we say, that I'd be like, yes, I definitely want to try that. So yeah, that's basically it at the moment. Thank you so much, Anne, for your question. Next question is from Crafty Little Things. What is your favorite paper craft projects to make and gift to someone? Favorite projects to make are cards. I absolutely love card making. I don't think I ever not love card making. So obviously I like to make cards and send those to people. I really enjoyed doing the little advent swaps I've done one with Christine cards and things, and I did one with MJ, and that was really fun to do because I had to find all little things to fit in these little pockets that I made, and it was fun to think of things that another crafter would like to receive. So I did enjoy doing that. I obviously love to make little mini albums and give those to people as keepsakes, because you can make them so personal. You can add personal details, as in photos or tickets or memories to go in the book. You can do it to the colours the person likes. You can do it to a theme the person likes. So mini books and gift boxes I do really like to make to gift to people. I've recently just done a lovely little Halloween gift box that I did and filled with all little Halloween treats for my little niece, and that was fun to make, and she was super happy with it when she received it. So yeah, I think that's it. Cards, 100% I love to make and give. Gift boxes I love to make because then I can personalize them and put gifts in them that the person will like, and mini albums which I love to decorate, make personal, and I love to gift them as well. So we finished our little Tilda image there. I think she's turned out really, really cute, and we'll start our little witch image as we do our last few questions. So next question is from Andrea the Cumbrian Crafter, and she'd like to know, knowing that you love anything Tim Holtz just like me, what is your favourite Tim Holtz product? Oh, that is definitely a hard question, Andrea, because as you know, being a fan of Tim Holtz yourself, he has brought out some fantastic products, stencils and stamps on their own. We've got inks, sprays, watercolor pencils. We've got mixed media products like the pastes and all things like that, glitters. If I had to pick one product of his, it would have to be ink pads. I could not do any crafting without some sort of Tim Holtz inks. I'm lucky and got the whole collection of the mini distress ink pads, which I must use every time I craft. I absolutely love his distress oxide inks as well. I've got quite a collection of those which I love to use for making blended backgrounds, nice background effects with those. So 100% Andrea, ink pads from him are my top favorite product from him. I do love his stencils and stamps. Again, they're great for making backgrounds or a main feature to your project. And again, his sprays and his texture paste and things like that are so nice to work with. So hard one to choose, but if I had to, ink pads are number one, stamps and stencils number two, number three, sprays and mixed media products from him. So yeah, I think they're my favorite Tim Holtz items. Right, next we've got Yvonne B, which die cutting machine do you prefer? I ask this as I have a large, medium, big shot and a small one from Lidl. Neither one works properly, so I'm thinking I will ask for one for Christmas. Yeah, that's quite a question because it all depends. See, I'm lucky and I've got a Cuttlebug machine that I have on my desk, which is a nice size A5 die cutting machine. So that is perfect for doing any of my smaller dies, any of my little small element die sets like from Tim Holtz. But I do also own a Gemini A4 larger electric machine, which is good. I don't hardly use it unless I have got a large die or a sort of A4 die that I need to cut. So that kind of sits to the side and only rarely gets used if I've got a large die. Just as I'm doing the hair again in my E35 and E33. So yeah, my die cutting machine that I use on a regular basis every time I craft is my Cuttlebug die cutting machine. You might be lucky and still can get some on eBay or second hand, but they do not sell the old style machine anymore. I have had Sizzix machines before. I did have a Big Shot and I loved that. So I would say if you have got a large and a medium Big Shot, they really should be good to use because Sizzix Big Shots have been around years and years. When die cutting first started coming out, Sizzix was like the main leader in die cutting machines. So maybe you could drop me a comment and let me know why you're having trouble with your Big Shots. I don't know if it could be your plates. If you got new plates, that would improve the pressure of them. So yeah, I don't really know what to suggest to say you could ask for Christmas, because I think you kind of have got the best machines there, Big Shots, unless you'd like to go for an A4 electric machine, as in the Gemini machine, or if you do prefer Sizzix brand, Sizzix do a electric machine as well. So I think a bit more research needs to be done on what you need for your crafting, if you need a large platform or you can get by with a smaller machine. So yeah, maybe leave me a comment and or even drop me an email, and we can have a chat a bit more and see if I can help you find out why you're having trouble with your large or medium Big Shots. So we'll see what we can find out. Maybe you just need some new plates to get that pressure a bit better going through the machine. So thanks so much for that question. Pink Bubble Cards is up next, which is Hillary. Do you have any tips or suggestions to help me improve? You are so good at colouring. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Hillary, and thank you for your kind comment. This is a perfect video, as I'm doing some colouring as we speak. Suggestions to help you improve. Practice is the first one. When I first started with alcohol pens, I wasn't very good at all. I'd, get bleeds over the edge of the stamped area, and yeah, it is a lot of practicing that takes to get really good with alcohol pens, because they take a bit of time to get used to how they work. To improve it, improve your colouring, 100% look at what sort of cardstock you are using to colour on. I like to use a cardstock. I'm so sorry I won't be able to tell you what brand this is or anything like this, because I've had this cardstock for years. I found a site, it was called Everything a Bargain, they turned to. Unfortunately, they've now shut and don't run anymore, but they sold this cardstock. It is a beautiful, super smooth white cardstock. It's quite a lightweight cardstock, and I found this, and it is absolutely perfect for colouring with alcohol pens. So once I found this card, I brought piles of it. I've got drawers of it, which I'm so thankful for, because now the company has shut up and I'd have no idea what brand card this is if I could ever buy it again. But it is so smooth, and as you can see, it takes the alcohol pens just beautifully. So yeah, I would look into what sort of cardstock you are trying to colour on, because that can make a huge difference to how the alcohol pens perform. Also have a look what pens you are using, if you are using alcohol pens, because there are so many out there and so many different qualities of pen. And also it depends. If you like watercolouring, again, a good quality watercolour paper will help with that. Yeah, just all depends what medium you're trying to colour with, the cardstock or watercolour cardstock that you're trying to colour on with, and also just make sure you're using the right type of ink for the product you're using. So like I say, alcohol pens, I use a black Memento. If you want to use any sort of water-based pen, you want to use I use a VersaFine Onyx black ink if I'm using anything water-based. So hope that helps a bit, Hillary, but to be honest, the main thing with colouring is practice. It's just learning which colours work together nice. It is figuring out how your medium works, as in, does it like being more blended, does it like being if it is a water-based product, does it work better if it's watered down more or stronger? So practice is the main thing, I would say. So last question, and we're nearly finished our little witch image. So our next question and final question is from Tracy Louise W, who was my very lucky winner of my 900 subscriber giveaway. So I will link Tracy's little unboxing video in the description box below. So if you haven't seen Tracy opening her little prizes from me, you can go and check that out. So Tracy would like to know, if I had a craft shop, what would you name it? And that is quite funny you said that, Tracy, because from the very beginning of my crafting journey, I always had the vision that one day I may possibly have a craft shop. Unfortunately, with the way crafting and craft shops are going nowadays, I don't honestly think that would ever come true, shall we say, because crafting is changing so much lately. There isn't hardly any craft shops, as in online stores, either going very well at the moment. And yeah, I think the craft industry is changing slightly, so I don't think that would ever happen, that I would actually have a craft shop. But you know what, if I did, I think I would call it Crafting Diva. I think I've got to stick with that name. It's the name I sort of came up with for my YouTube channel, and yeah, I think it would be kind of fun to carry that name onto a shop front if it ever did come out that I could possibly open a shop or own a craft shop. But yeah, I think Crafting Diva would have to be the name, just to carry the little craft journey forward. Yeah, I think it'd be very hard to run and own a craft shop or even any sort of craft business at the moment, as yeah, I don't know if when crafting really took off, if these companies thought when they were flooding the industry with so many products that it would affect it long term, because it has seen a bit of a decline, hasn't it, of the craft brands. We've had quite a lot of brands go, and they are trying to come back with other brands trying to pick them up. But yeah, certain brands that we might never see again, i.e. first edition paper pads, I'm not sure if they're ever going to come back, which is such a shame, because I did love having those in my collection. But yeah, it's just the way things go, isn't it? But yeah, Crafting Diva would have to be the craft shop's name, wouldn't it? It just couldn't be anything else. So I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that has watched these two videos of my little Q&A. I hope you've enjoyed them. I hope it's give you a bit of insight into how I got crafting, what craft products I like, how I like to use my craft items. If there is any other follow-on questions you'd like to ask me from hearing my answers, please feel free to leave those in the comments box below. I'd love to answer any other questions that you are wanting to ask when you've heard these ones being answered. If there's anything I can help you with, like Yvonne who wanted to know about die cutting machines, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll try and answer it as best I can for you. Or you're always free to drop me an email and we can have a little crafty chat if that helps you out. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone that did take part in my little giveaway. It was great for you to all take part, for you to share, do me VRs, everything like that. And it's been so nice to sit here, have a little colour, have a chat with you all. And I hope to see you again very soon with another brand new video. We'll have my sketch challenge coming up again soon. Hopefully get some Christmas project videos up for you. And thanks so much for watching today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and I hope to see you all again soon. Bye for now.